Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. We have this storm developing in the Southern Ocean and it's with us for a week. It should clear away around about Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So let's get into it. We've got the centre of this storm right here, and that's where it's likely to be parked for the next wee while. It's going to move around a little bit in that zone. The coldest of the air, the Antarctic portion, is on this side, coming off the ice shelf and out to sea, just missing Tasmania and also just missing New Zealand. It curves around as a westerly, and as it does that, it warms up a little bit. So it's not as bad as a direct hit. That's the reason why we're not seeing snow to sea level right up the South Island. It's just sort of more into this southwestern corner. So on the satellite map, you can certainly see a lot of cloud to the north. There's a bit of patchy rain in there. But the main feature is actually these smaller thunderstorms that have been coming in. Now, Wellington had a very busy night or morning with thunderstorms rolling through there. Met Service started their severe thunderstorm warnings at about 2 in the morning, and then they were sending them through sort of every 30 minutes to an hour until the sun came up. So busy morning around the lower North Island, and there are still thunderstorms there and more of them coming in with these lumpy clouds. And then down here, that is the first of the cold fronts that brings a temperature drop behind it. And as you look at this map, now this is quite an interesting one. I wanted to show you this one really because it shows you the airflow coming off Antarctica. This is quite rare. We often get in winter a polar blast which comes from the ice shelf, but in this case, it's coming from down near the South Pole. But like I say, it comes all the way up and it's out at sea. And then it curves around as a westerly, and that journey across the Tasman warms it up. And that's why it is not as bitterly cold in New Zealand as it could be. But this is a remarkable image that we don't see too often. So let's take a look at the rainfall, and we'll get into the maps in a moment. But rainfall wise, the heaviest rain where it's been all week, we're talking 300 to 500 millimetres possible up in the mountains and ranges, and lower down 125 to 150, maybe even 200 millimetres on the way. Heavy rainfall totals into the western side of the North Island and also down where the thunderstorms were this morning, and that will also clip the eastern side of Bay of Plenty. But the further north you go and the further east you go, the drier it will be. We've also got snow on the way. This hasn't changed very much from our update yesterday. It does show that the heaviest snow with over a metre and a half coming in these brighter areas on the tops of the mountains. Around the central plateau, this map only sort of shows a light dusting on the mountains. This goes through until Sunday. The coldest portion of air for the North Island is Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday. So we might see that grow a little bit further. And just a close-up of this, because there are a lot of people that live along here. Look, the pale blue here is really just a few snow flurries. It's nothing really significant. So there might be a few that come out onto the plains, but Christchurch and Wellington and Dunedin don't look as though they'll get snow. Certainly not Wellington and Christchurch, but Dunedin does have some chances, especially in the hilltop suburbs, and a chance around Southland, but maybe not quite as bad as it could have been. But certainly if you're in northern Southland and out to the west, there's a chance of snow, and it's settling for a few days as well, not just one day. So here we are on Friday. There is the storm, 953. The cold portion out here, out at sea, brushing Tasmania, brushing Victoria, and then turning around and moving into New Zealand as a west to northwest wind. It will be colder in the South Island, but you've had worse. And there'll be rain along the ranges there with heavy falls, and some heavy falls in the North Island. Blustery winds as well, they'll be picking up, and that means it'll be dry and maybe even sunny at times for some of these eastern areas. Into the weekend, the storm deepens, 947. It covers a size at least, well, to me, I would say it's probably 2 times the size of Australia, but we'll say it's at least 1 times, or say the same size as Aussie, but it's a big system. And so it's got a long way to go to dredge the air up and around. And again, that's the reason why the North Island just won't be as cold as the South Island. It will be like autumn up here, and it'll be like winter down here, and also winter over in Tasmania. As we get into Sunday, look at this, 965, that's very low air pressure to be hugging our coastline. We saw that the other day with one of those Tasman lows that dropped down, but it dropped down and away from us. This one is sliding sort of sideways past us, so could be very interesting on Sunday just how low that air pressure goes. And the lower it goes, the more unstable the whole system is. And that's why we might see more thunderstorms, hail showers, snow, And severe gales maybe, although the gales maybe don't look so bad to begin with, but they could get stronger as the day goes on. And so we've got a wind map here showing the biggest gusts through central New Zealand. Most of the colours you see on the map here are showing gusts of around 80 or 90 k's an hour. That's not usually too problematic, but around Mount Taranaki, the Marlborough Sounds and Wellington, yep, you're up over the 100k zone. So could be some pretty strong gusts on Sunday, and also gales possible around Auckland, especially on the western side of the city. So as we go into Monday now, 960, there is that low tracking right along that southern coastline of New Zealand. Very windy around that top part of the South Island and around the North Island. Very windy for you on Monday. And then you got that colder polar side coming through here on the western side of all of that setup in New Zealand. So by the time we get to Tuesday, the polar parts kind of move through. And now the storm in the Southern Ocean is being split apart. It's got a couple of centres to it now, but still very cold and wintry for these areas in the south. But the further north you go, look at this high, stretching out like that. And what it does is it sort of puts a lid on that southerly change, and it encourages it to be more of a westerly. So when you track the origins of these winds, they're coming out of Western Australia and brushing past the North Island. That's not a polar southerly anymore. So the cold part of this weather will hug the South Island more than the North Island. Windy weather will hug central and northern areas the most, and the rain more likely to be on the western side of the country. A lot to talk about, and that's just covering some of it. But yeah, we've got a busy few days ahead. Weatherwatch.co.nz if you needed more information, and we will be back tomorrow with our next update, the final one for the week.